Good morning, friends. How are you this morning? And we are back. Hope you're having a wonderful day and that beauty accompanies you on this day. Hope there's something great and that's working out for you. Oh, nice little mug up this morning. My hope is that your morning will be a little bit of a mug up with your 11:11 moment. I hope you're finding it well and good. So, oh, good morning, friends. It's so good to be back. It's so good to be back. Hope you're. Hey, Vicky. It is nice. It's nice to be back. It really is. It's a joy. Um, yeah, it was nice to take a knee. I really needed a moment, and it was nice to spend a little time with family and the like. But yeah, but it also rained every day. So glad to be back and have a little sunshine, maybe, or at least a little gray shine, something that isn't leaking from the sky. Good morning, everyone. So nice to be back, and this I don't know how we um, find ourselves to take a knee. It's just so valuable and so important. It's the I always have to. I try to remind other people, mostly because I need to remind myself, is that actually resting is doing something. That when we set ourselves in a place to heal or set ourselves in a place to recover, there's this way in which at least we've got some grace in it, like some but it's so critically important to just and this week it just drove that home for me so much. So all right, good morning, friends. Let's get going this morning. It is the 8th day of June, and we are back here at 11:11. I'm glad you're with us and glad you're a part of this journey. Hey, good morning, John. I hope this week away has been a balm to you and has been a balm because it has been to me. Uh, we're kind of in one of the things I noticed recently is we're kind of in installation season, and this is what that means. What that means is we're that many churches have kind of had a call of a pastor, and they're now installing that pastor. Now the rite of installation is this rite that is about really promoting them and putting them in the office of the church as the pastor of the church. So a few weeks ago, I got to go up to Amesbury, Massachusetts, and see and participate in Scott Chase's installation there, and Bruce Hamilanian, who I didn't get to go to, but I really wished I had, was over in Second Church of Plymouth, and because it's not just that like you're now like a dishwasher where you get installed into the church, but it's this way in which you are actually now come into deeper covenant with the church and but today I want to talk about a little bit of a different installation. One of the fun things about going to Scott Chase's installation was it is although John Greenleaf Whittier was a Quaker, he actually worshipped at the Congregational Church there of Scott's Church, and so there's a little pew that was considered Whittier's pew. Now Whittier's probably one of the great American poets of the age, and so it was kind of neat to see in this just historical little chapel that continues to worship and continues to raise up beauty to God. That the that that the thoughts and the wisdom of Whittier, that there's still just some of the greatest poetry you'll find in the I think from the American scene will actually be was formed there. But again, I want to talk about a different installation today. So this is the installation of Michelangelo's David. In 1504, David's Michelangelo's David, one of the greatest artworks of the world, was installed in the city of Florence. Um, Michelangelo was 26 years old when it was commissioned, and he would be almost 30 by the time it was completed. He was he would make the David, which is 17 feet tall. He would make it out of a block that Donatello had worked like decades earlier and had rejected. It was kind of an abandoned block, like quite literally. The stone that the builder had rejected has become the cornerstone. Would be the story of the David that he would pick this block that many of the others had rejected to form this masterpiece out of, which is, and it is considered, if you don't know the David, it's an easy Google away, but it is considered perhaps one of the greatest sculptures of the world. And it was originally supposed to go on top of the cathedral, but when the town council saw it, when it was unveiled, they just couldn't have it. They couldn't imagine it being so far out of up and out of sight to be able to see the incredible beauty and the incredible detail of it. And so they would take it and they would place it uh, in the central plaza, right in front of the town hall. And there's a copy of it right there that literally when you come into Florence and you go into the Piazza del Signora, which is the central kind of piazza in old Florence, you there's the David, but it's a copy of it because the original is now in the Academy building to try and protect it against weather and other things. It so captured the town council in 1504 that it became the spirit and the symbol of Florence. It took over the very meaning and of both strength and beauty and perfection that Florence would come to create. And in fact there would be many kind of copies of it made over the years, but at the end of the day, there still was only one David. And and in fact, it's at the Galleria of the Academy Galleria, but they're actually worried about it now because of the fact that there are so many people that go to visit it that just the footsteps of the crowds that come to admire, of which I have been a part. I had the chance to go see the David, and it did not disappoint. Simply the crowds that had their footsteps around it, and the vibrations of those footsteps they're concerned are creating microfractures in the statue itself. This is how amazing this piece is from this 26-year-old that began to his work, and that 519 years later we still look at this and as if it is the signature of in some ways all beauty in the world. There's a story that was birthed out of the David. It's not. It's apocryphally kind of attributed to Michelangelo and all that sort of stuff. And Michelangelo never had anything to do with it, or no one really even connected with the David. But kind of thinking about it, this story that would be created back in 1883 by a guy by the name of George Pentecost. He would write this story called "The Angel in the Marble," and he described this and he talks about this story that he writes of a childhood episode where he had this sculpture that was kind of down and out. That the sculptor who had acquired a rough piece of marble, and he'd placed it in his shed studio, and the young boy would come kind of and admire what he was doing, and he would ask me. Finally asked him, and this is Pentecost's words. He says, "Finally I asked him, Mr. M, what are you going to make out of that?" And looking kindly into my face, he said, "My boy, I am not going to make anything out of it. I'm going to find something in it." I didn't quite comprehend what he was saying, but said, "Why? What are you going to find in it?" And he replied, "There is a beautiful angel in that block of marble, and I am going to find it. All I have to do is knock off the outside pieces of the marble and be very careful not to cut into the angel with my chisel. And in a month or so, you will see how beautiful it is." Friends, there inside of you is a David to be revealed. There inside of you is an angel to be let loose. There in the block of marble that is your life, the things that weigh you down that you know are not you and are not yours. Maybe they were given to you by a parent. Maybe they've been given to you by society. Maybe they're a worry that's been given to you by the news. Maybe there's something that has stuck itself to you that you just can't even seem to kind of comprehend how it got there, but that it is not the true and divine form in which the hand of the Master is at work in revealing in you. For the great work of the sculptor is simply to reveal all that is not the angel in the marble, that is not the David itself. Friends, one of the wonderful things about that you discover about the David when you look at it is that it's actually not perfect. And it's not that the marble was not perfect, even though we some days may feel like the David and like we're just not made out of good enough stuff. That we've been told by the masters of old we were rejected and there was nothing to be built from us. That maybe, but that in the hands of the Master, in the hands of the great sculptor, we get revealed. You know, there's distortions in the David itself, and people wonder why. Some people believe that one of the things about the David is that David's hands are huge, and one of the things they believed was because it was supposed to be on top of the cathedral that it would help give a sense of perspective, and that the head and the hands would look right because of the distance involved. But I don't know if that's true. And there's actually a sense where the eyes in the David aren't quite perfect and aren't quite lined up. One is looking at a distance and one is looking a little closer. That even the most perfect sculpture in the world, the most beautiful, considered hands down the most beautiful sculpture in the world, does not have it, is not in fact perfect. Even, friends, the most beautiful and most incredible vision of you that is being revealed in this world is not perfect. Let yourself off the hook of perfection and let the Master reveal the angel that is in you. Let the hands of God go to work on chiseling away all that is not the David, chiseling away all that is not the angel within you. You know, one of the things, it really did strike me to be in that sanctuary of Scott Chase's up there for his installation, and see a little pew with a little plaque on it that said this was John Greenleaf Whittier's pew. Because Whittier, if you don't know, he's not only one of the great American poets, but he was also one of the great American abolitionists. And how often was some unknown preacher to us, like I don't know the pastor that he came and listened to at that time, or some unknown sermon, or some unknown piece of scripture, or some unknown piece of wisdom that managed to unleash in him one of the most powerful and one of the most gracious and one of the most beautiful spirits that would work for the equity and the abolition of slavery in America. Now, of course, it didn't all come from there. There's all manner of ways and all manner of hammer and chisel strokes that would come to form the guy that Whittier would become, and the very angel that would get unleashed. And I get it, friends. There's 1,000 reasons to set it down these days. Just as I think in Whittier's day, there's 1,000 reasons to set it down. There's 1,000 reasons for a country that was on the brink and was about to just tear itself apart. For over this issue of slavery back in Whittier's day, we can look around at the communities that are just ready to tear themselves apart over whatever they're all fired up about. But at the end of the day, if we stay true to the unleashing of that angel within us, if we can look to the angel in the block of marble, we can see the things that need to fall away, and we can let the Lord, we can let the hand of the master, we can let the sculptor do its work. Our invitation is simply to stay with it. To not crumble under our own micro stresses, to not crumble under our own challenges, to realize that the weight that we carry is not ours to carry, but is for God's to remove for us in His own time and in His own way, with His own chisel and His own hammer that will work on the revealing of the David within us and the perfection of the beauty. Because no matter how rejected you've felt, no matter how rejected you are, no matter how kind of sick of it all you might feel, remember first they rejected Christ, and that through that, all goodness and all wonder and all beauty and all resurrection came into this world. I want to leave you today with what I think is one of Whittier's more fun poems, and one of my more favorites, and it's simply entitled this, that don't quit, and it goes like this. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When the care is pressing you down a bit, and rest if you must, but don't quit. Life is queer in its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured victor's cup. And he learned too late, when the night came down, how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint in the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It might be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Friends, you must not quit, because there is an angel being revealed within you. There is a David that God's angels and God's hand and the hand of the master, the greatest sculptor himself, is at work revealing in your life. You might not feel it. All you may feel is hammer blows, and all you may feel is the scraping of the chisel. But in it, is God's greatest work. Not being done in the world, not being done in marble, but being done in soul and flesh in you and in your life. That is the promise of the gospel. That is the promise of this cornerstone which was first rejected. This block that was first rejected, that has become the cornerstone. And this, friends, from the shapeless block of marble is being chipped away, the most beautiful and most wondrous of life and experience in this world. You who are born for heaven. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. Peace and grace to you all. I am so glad to be back. Allison, hey, how are you? I hope you've had some. I hope your travels have been fun. I look forward to hearing about them. Hey, Donna, glad you're here. I hope it's good. Robin Carden, everybody. Oh, such a joy to see you, Robin. Hey, Bob Guinan, hope you're doing well. Oh, we got stuff to talk about, Bob. We got veteran stuff to do. Yvette, good morning. Jamie, hello. Vicky, so glad you're here. All right, so glad you have all been a part of this and are back. And we will pick it up next week with another 11:11. Peace and grace, my friends.